Hello. Welcome to this wonderful new series from Moldiversity called we don't have a title for it, but it's you know what? Moldiversity colon cult classics. Extra colon whatever the topic is at hand. Welcome. This is Aaron Michael Johnson or Aaron M. Johnson. I'm not sure which one yet, but whichever one sounds classy. And of course, my wonderful co-host, you may remember him from the classic Lovecraft Boys. We have the odd one himself. How you doing?
What's going on? How are y'all today? Welcome to a new series. Child, you said Lovecraft Boys down. Made me feel
I
like we
know,
kind of
right?
did elevate a little bit because
Full circle.
we can talk about Lovecraft Country on here because that is a cult
Yep,
classic.
yep, full circle moment. And
Damn.
okay, you see what I'm saying? Like it's
Right.
there. It's
But I mean,
there.
it's not just gonna always be us duos as bros. It's also gonna
Of
be the
course.
good sis, Miss Avia Knighton will be
Hello.
joining us as well as she has right now. What's going on?
Woo-wee.
Oh, you getting ready to go to the party?
Yeah, I'll be getting ready to join the party and say the password because woo-wee. This movie.
Not the password.
This movie. But
It's
no,
a
I'm good. I'm feeling good.
period. You're doing better than Tom Cruise's character. I know that. Woo! So
Hmm.
we're talking about Eyes Wide
Child.
Shut. After
I was about
all
to say,
these
as they can
years,
see, after all these years, and I'm gonna insert the clip from Lovecraft Goers when he first brought this up about Eyes Wide Shut,
please,
and I was
thank
like,
you.
"What is this movie?" He kept
You
telling
see
me
the
about this movie, and
connection
I was
now.
like, "Right, it's a big ass connection." Like Aaron used to reference this movie all the time when we were talking about Lovecraft Country, the series, and I would be like, "Girl, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?" And I finally was like, I'm gonna watch this dang on movie and I'm gonna see what this movie giving. And child, woo,
Mess,
what a movie! Like what a movie! What a movie! What a
mess.
movie! But before we get into Eyes Wide Shut, I think we should talk about what Cult Classics is and what this series will be giving our viewers. We have consumed a lot of TV, a lot of movies in the last couple of years. I think from even when we were a child in our childhood up to our, teenage years up to our adulthood. But I thought it would be a great idea to, start talking about some cult classics because I feel like there are a lot. Even now, going into our age where we are, I feel like a lot of movies that you don't think are cult classics. Um, so what is a cult classic?
Well, in my opinion, I believe that a cult classic is, when in regards to film, is a film that underperformed at a box office when it first came out, and
Mhm.
then years later, everybody and their mama watches it and loves it.
Mhm.
I can dig it.
Aaron.
Well, to me, cult classics are those movies that, yeah, like Avi just said, nobody really appreciates them when they first come out. And over time, it's like, yeah, it's pretty good, retroactively appreciating them. And sometimes it could be a really good thing, and other times it could be just like, no, they were right the first time. But there's like there could be a very specific group of people that appreciate it, like with some other films we'll talk about down the road.
Oh my God, our list is ridiculous. We do already have a list of 20 movies. And I think the list that we
Iconic.
created is a great list to even start this series because even the top five that we're gonna talk about is like they're all different genres, they're all different
Mhm.
perspectives, they're all different directors, they're all different like kinds of storytelling that I think a lot of people have appreciated over the years. And I think that's why, and I hate to say it, I think that's why the top five is why it's the top five.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy because when I look at the list, no shade, and we can talk about this later in the second half of this series, the ranking of these movies, because yes, we did 20 movies, but and I feel like the first five are like the actual top five of the list.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
feel like they all have each proven their story. I think the directors did what they wanted to do for as visions.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, I mean, I'm looking at the list right now and I'm just like, yeah, I think this is a good way to, start off. Because I feel like these movies are all over the place, especially the movie that we're about to introduce this series with. And I thought it would be kind of not ironic, but I feel like out of the movies that are the first, set, this is the
Hmm.
most controversial movie. And I feel like let's go ahead and get it out the way. Let's go ahead, open it up with this. Even though there is another controversial movie that I think might take that spot, but I feel like starting
Oof.
off, let's go ahead and knock this off the list because it's a lot that happens in this movie. There's a lot of controversy behind this movie, and then there's a group of people who do appreciate the art form of this movie, and might have been a little bit ahead of its time. Um, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So yeah.
Indubitably.
So Eyes Wide Shut, 1999. Who wants to give us a good old introduction or, synopsis of this movie?
Oh, is that's me, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
what's the
Yep.
Cause
password?
you
What?
Jesus, he said it already. It's only
What's the
been
pass?
7 minutes.
What?
Eyes Wide Shut, 1999. It's an erotic. Imagine I rolled my R's. An erotic thriller by the legendary director Stanley Kubrick about a doctor and his wife, played by Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, respectively, admitting that they have sexual fantasies about other people, and Dr. Bill becomes obsessed with having a sexual encounter with a woman somewhere, and he just kind of spirals into a world of mystery, mayhem, nudity, secret society here and there, just little things, everyday things. And to say he's in over his head would be an understatement, because ooh wee, Dr. Bill, Dr. Bill, he go through some things. He go through some things, and there's a lot there that I don't want to just dive into spoiling, but it's he just goes on a journey of self-discovery. Some say, we can get into the conspiracies later, but some say that there's a lot of metaphors within metaphors in every single scene, and coincidentally this is also Stanley Kubrick's last film before he died that he filmed himself, so there's a lot there. And this is very controversial because of the way it handles nudity, some of the subject matter with secret societies, things like that. So yeah, yeah, that's that.
I'm soaking it in because I'm just remembering. Oh, as you was saying, he went on a journey, and that man really went on a
Oh,
journey.
did he?
Yep.
Like he
Oh,
literally went
when
on
I
a
tell you.
journey. What you gonna tell us, sis? Because honestly, let's go on and start it. What? Because you literally just watched it like 20 minutes
Yeah.
ago. Was this your first time
Yes,
watching it?
it was. Like I've heard about the
Okay.
Oh
film.
Lord.
Uh huh.
Like I've heard about it, and I was like, if y'all talking about, let me watch this movie. So I was watching it, and the progression of it, like them getting ready to go to this Christmas party, saying goodbye to their
Mhm.
daughter, you know, and then they get to the party. Alice is getting drunk, getting drunk out of her mind, talking to someone else who's not her husband, flirting with them, and then Bill is talking to these two young girls. I'm like, oh, y'all are sexually deprived. Like, y'all may have sex with each other, but y'all are so sexually deprived where y'all can't even be in the same room with each other. Like, okay. And, we see that they want more as far as sexual relationships with each other. And, Alice is talking about, her fantasies, and Bill is pretty much just staying there, just having to listen to it. Like, what? Like, you're dreaming of having sex with another guy that's not me? Like, what? And this, like Aaron said, sends him into a spiral. So he gets a call from his good friend who was in medical school, but he dropped out. Now he's a piano player, and he plays piano organ at one of these sex parties. And he's like, yeah, you should come. It's like, okay. And so he's sent on this sexual odyssey, I guess, because like he goes to a client's house of a dying, his client dying. His daughter is like, oh, I love my, like she's engaged to somebody else. And she's like, oh, I love you. I love you. Like, girl, you are tripping. Tripping.
Ooh, she was
Like,
having
girl,
her
what
own
is wrong
fantasies
with
about
you?
her. She was having her own fantasies about Dr. Bill saving her. Like it was that, oh my God, you can rescue or you can save, like, so you can save lives. Doctor, help me. Take my temperature, doctor.
I'm
Dr.
like,
Bill was something
girl,
else.
girl. He was he something else? And then he talks. He uh, gets with the prostitute, but they don't. They don't have sex, and she has HIV. So he's like, no, no. So he gets a call from Alice, like, are you coming home? And he's like, no, I'll be home when I get home. All right, oh, so you fucking up already. You fucking up already. You fucking up already. Y'all, when I was watching this movie, I'm just like, oh Lord, oh
It
Lord.
was a mess.
So it was a mess. So he finally gets to the party. Oh yeah, I forgot the part where he goes to get his suit for the party, and
Child,
and the guy.
that was funny.
Yeah, it was good.
Because the girl was with these two older men, and the guy with this, and the who runs the shop was getting on her ass.
Hmm.
And he came in there like, all right, and then he gets his suit. He gets his suit for the party. He changes. He gets there. He gets his mask on. I'm like, I knew that that he was going to a sex party. So I'm like, okay, going through the motions. And one of the girls there, who I noticed, it was the same girl that he saved at the party, the Christmas party he went to with Alice, because his doctor friend and her were having sex, but she OD'd from a speedball.
Hmm.
So he saved her. He doctored her up, saved her, and then they meet again at the party, and she's like, "Look, you don't belong here. Like, what are you doing here? Like, it's dangerous. Like, you don't need to be here." And lo and behold, he goes into the main room where they're doing their ritual and whatnot, and he gets called out.
I mean,
And this is when
called out. Like I was so scared
Right.
because I was like, oh my God, like, because I mean, granted, up until then, I was like, oh my God, like he's going on this journey, he's doing what he doing, and
Hmm.
hold on, y'all, real quick. Sorry. Um, what was I saying? Oh, when he gets to the party and he gets called out, I think like up until then, I was very nervous for him already because he's putting himself out in this situation. I feel like he's exposing himself. It's granted that you want to go do all this, want to dive into this fantasy after what your wife done said, but
Hmm.
it's like child, you in a place that you don't got no business being in at the end of the day.
at all.
Like you don't got
Because I
no
was like,
business being there.
the part that got me was like, the guy in the red, the mate, like the leader of it,
Yeah,
the guy in the red. He's like, take off, take off your mask. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be stupid. Don't do it. Like, there are too many people in high society, too many people who are powerful in this building.
hmm,
Once they see your face, it is over for you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. Just run. Just run. But of course, he takes his he takes his damn mask off
I mean, took it
and
off
they
like
see
he
his
was just
face.
like he took his mask off like he was a fucking superhero, and I was like,
right.
bro, you just exposed, like
You
you literally
idiot.
just
Like, you
exposed
idiot.
yourself. Like, do you not know that? Well, you don't know, but one of these can be your patients, and you sitting up here exposing yourself,
Exactly.
and like it was just wild that he was just so willing to put himself out there like that. One gives me the instant that this character Bill has no shame in his game. Also, just lets me know that he's not afraid of anything. And three,
Hmm.
it was one of those YOLO moments. Like, I mean, if they kill me, they kill me. If they don't, they don't. If they all in here doing this, it is what it is. And then plus, the main person told you to reveal yourself. So it's like, what am I going to do? You know. So I felt like he was put in a dang on
Right.
position to reveal himself, but at the same time, as a viewer, I'm like, chop, get the mask on, get the mask on, get the mask on. But reveal the mask because I want to
Right.
see what would be your development after this? Now that you expose yourself, what is your development from this? How will you learn from this?
You
Mm-hmm.
should have got a sequel.
And oh, I wasn't ready to bring that up, but I'm telling you, I think and I think this is why it has the following that it has. I think this is why that it's controversial, and this is now I can say I think it was ahead of its time. Is because
Yeah.
granted it was a cult, um, and I think it sucks because I feel like because of and it's the same thing I said about Showgirls. I think because of how it was portrayed and how the media how critics were back then and
Hmm.
how films were back then, it was a little too much. It was, but at the same time, there's worse things that have been created. So
Ain't
it's
that the
just
truth?
on how you perceive it, how you take it. Granted, this is an adult movie. This is an adult movie. I repeat, this is an adult movie. So it does touch on some things or it does, explore fantasies, sexual, um, infidelity, the
Hmm.
cult, like it explores all those different things. And I think at the end of the day, it's a fantasy. It's I don't know. Child, it's a hot mess, I will tell you that. You
You
can't
right.
believe I sat up here and watched this all day on my day off and was sitting up here looking, I mean, looking crazy. I was looking, but I was invested because I was like, what is
Right.
going to happen? Especially look at the character that I have, which is one of the people that was the woman that was trying to tell him to get out of
Mm-hmm.
there. I was
Yeah.
so scared
Mm-hmm.
for her because it's like now you're putting yourself out there. You didn't reveal yourself yet, but you're putting yourself out there as somebody trying to save somebody that has no business being in here, especially once he revealed who he was. Goddamn.
Look what happened to her. And look what happened to her. She died
Girl,
anyway. And it's
pissed
like,
me
Right.
off.
and
What you
it
was gonna
show
say?
it
And it's
goes to
like,
show like, oh my bad. Did I cut
No.
anybody off?
No, you're
no, I
right.
was,
No, I
I
know
was,
exactly
no,
what
I
you're
was
trying to
saying,
say.
no, yeah, I was about to say you go ahead. I was about to say go ahead, finish what you were saying because you was like, and it's like,
And one thing that I know is like all the women, like they didn't have any type of clothes on. Like any, like none, not even like a shawl, like nothing, right? And the guys were fully covered except the ones who were already having sex. I'm like, okay, this is showing the difference. Like women are unprotected. in this type of
Mhm.
environment
Hmm.
I'm glad you
and
said
men
that.
are
I'm
protected
so glad you said that.
because the Mandy is her Mandy what's her Mandy,
Hmm.
the girl that Mike is referring to, the girl in the mask who's pretty much his escort through
Hmm.
through the party. She knew what was going to happen to her, which is why she decided to exchange her life for his. Because remember, the guy in the red let him go because she stepped in. It's like, hold up, I'll take this punishment. I'll take him. Let me take me, not him. And that's when they let him go, and he went on his way. And like I said earlier, look what happened. She died because nobody was protecting
Hmm.
her from these men.
It's a metaphor there. I don't know if we want to get
Mm-hmm.
into it, but there's a metaphor there.
I wrote down metaphor. I mean, send it and let me know. Let us know what you're talking about. But I think, I mean, it's a lot of metaphors in this movie. I mean, look when he got home and how he felt and was guilty, and then you had Alice laughing in her sleep. You know, I felt like that was a metaphor because it was like I felt like she knew, not saying necessarily she knew, but it was also giving off like a woman's intuition.
Hmm.
So I felt like, even though she did not know, but I think she felt that you've been out all night, and now you want to come in this house. It was one of the. I felt like that's what that laugh was. Like I felt like that's what it was giving. But cha, wait, time out. Speaking of Alice, so when I'm first watching this movie, spoiler alert to those who haven't seen the movie and possibly will watch the movie. I thought Alice was the lady in the mask. That's my profile picture. The whole time that lady, cause I mean, she had the same body, same structure, everything, and I was like,
Well,
ain't no way. Look, I was like, ain't no way. Alice sitting up in here playing like that, cause the way she kept saying you ain't supposed to be in here, and my head as somebody who likes to, read,
hmm,
explore, and write, I was like, damn, that would be that bomb ass plot twist that Alice had been
It
like,
would. It would.
been in this secret society this whole time, and
how you
she,
know she wasn't?
right, because we always think about that ending, and I always think about how you just said it should have had a sequel, because I do think, honestly, do and truly think that I think she was already invited to a party, and this is what triggered the fantasy. And I
Ding, ding,
think with
ding.
her, I think it was I think because she's a wife, she's a mother, she probably didn't stay at the party. She just instantly left when she realized what was going on.
Ding,
I
ding.
think.
Well. That's a good theory.
Oh no, okay, and it's
That's a good theory.
as
That's a
we
good
head
one.
into as we head into our theory moments.
That's a
I
good
I
one.
literally, I thought that's what I would think that could, transpire with her development prequel wise to this, to his, because it was like it's like what triggered, what triggered it,
Hmm.
um because I don't think it was ever explained that what triggered her fantasy of doing that, um but also it also thinks about, well, he's always working, he's a doctor, he's not never home, that type of situation. I mean, the man is fine, so it's like, and Alice is fine as hell too. So it's like, what's the issue? Where's the chemistry? What is the flavor? What is going on?
Mm-hmm.
They were a good looking couple on some debauchery. That's all. I mean, is
It's
this where I
like,
say my theory?
it's like you can go ahead.
Okay, I think Alice had been groomed in the cult for a long time, and she was supposed to keep eyes on Bill until they decided he was ready.
Mm.
Ooh.
Yep, yep. And they're trying to groom their daughter too. There you go.
Oh,
The men at the beginning were there at the end with the little girl when she ran off in the toy store.
Oh my God. You ain't tell me
Mhm.
that.
I'm just, it's there. You look at, like, at the very beginning, and even the men that that Alice talks to around the beginning, he's at the party. So like, it's like one big inside joke to them, and Bill is the odd man out. That's what I think. So yeah, it's a dark, dark, dark theory, but there we go. There you go.
I mean, it is, I
Mhm.
mean, I mean, it is a lot. Because I mean, I feel like with that, a cult is built on different generations. So, a lot can be going on with that happening, especially when you don't know who's who in the mask. So
Mhm.
that's wild.
There you go. Much to think about.
A lot to think about.
Stanley, and
A-
like the thing is, Kubrick, he was like, he wanted to make this not necessarily nonsensical, but like he wanted you to question everything. That was the point of this movie. It's like you need to question every single thing you see, like believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, kind of thing. And I'm just like, this is a very psychologically tortured movie.
mm,
That's the word. We're gonna use that word.
I mean, it is a psychological thriller. I ain't even gonna hold you. Because at moments, I really thought he was in a. I mean, it sucks. I'm about to not sucks that I'm about to say this, but it's interesting about to say this. But sometimes it did felt like when Stanley did, choose his way of directing. Sometimes it felt like when he was
Mhm.
there, it felt like it was a dream.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So,
yeah,
hence from where this comes from, which is, the original A Dream Story, I do feel like he did choose to shoot some things in a dream state because it had that
mhm,
fog, it had that haze, and I felt like he was walking not necessarily a nightmare, but he was on an adventure. Most dreams are an adventure.
right. You're right. That's a word
Oh,
right there.
Stanley. I watched
He
the. I
made
mean,
some
after I
interesting
watched this,
movies.
after I had watched the movie that day, I had watched the documentary on the making of Eyes Wide Shut. It talked about a lot of the controversy and Stanley
Hmm.
himself and what he was trying to do with it, and talking about his previous work, which we're gonna dive into later because it's another movie that we're gonna put on this list. I know I'm gonna quote it wrong, but I know it's the clock.
Work
Clockwork
Orange.
Orange.
Yes, that,
Oh
I
my
think,
gosh,
right.
Mike.
I feel like
Whoa,
what?
whoa, whoa,
Oh, you don't
whoa.
know.
Period.
You're in
Whoa,
for
whoa,
you are in for something. I'll say it's something.
I
whoa.
know. I don't know what happens, but I do know I'm in for
A
something.
lot, a lot happened. If they gave,
Yeah.
well, look, this is like a clock.
Mild. This is
See, my
mild
thing is
compared to
about
Clockwork
Kubrick
Orange.
stuff. Kubrick's movies are like every single modern art house film tries to pay homage to him indirectly. I'm looking at you, A24 specifically, because he was like a one man A24. That's what people don't realize.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
Homeboy, I mean, let's be real. I'm gonna just say it like the way this movie and even Clockwork makes me feel is how I felt when I was watching Midsummer.
Mm.
That's how I feel. Like it just, you just want to. I don't know how to describe it. You just want to just sit and think. Ugh, yeah, you have you seen other Kubrick movies, Mike?
No, but once we talked about Eyes Wide Shut, I was very I was very intrigued by what else, especially with this being his last movie. I felt like, damn, I hate that this was his last movie because he didn't get to, like, I don't want to say elevate, but yeah, elevate. I didn't. I hate that he didn't get to
Yeah,
pursue more of his directing
yeah.
skills. So it sucks because
Well, he's
now I have to
more
go back and watch
serious, right?
old, old stuff. Yes, I don't know what the theory was. It was talked about in the thing, and I don't even think we should bring that up on this on
Yeah,
this
I'm just saying, like
episode.
it's
I do know what the theory was, and that sucks because it's
yeah,
like, damn, like, I hope that's not true, but at the same time, it's like, damn, I
yeah.
just really wish, I'm all for people, especially when it
Hmm.
comes to filmmaking or any artist or any writer or anybody that is pursuing a
Hmm.
passion in whatever career that you want to do. I feel like people have to release, or they have to pursue and be able to create what they want. um
Yeah.
so I do hate that now I have to go back and watch all his old stuff, but
I also think this is Tom Cruise's best role. I'm gonna just say that now.
mm,
It's his best performance, not best role. His best performance, because Kubrick got a like I you can't get this Tom Cruise anymore in movies.
he too busy jumping out planes right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like unless you were to do something like A24, you're not gonna get it.
I mean, I wish I could see him in a psychological thriller right now. And I hate to say it. And ain't gonna hold you. I
Uh,
wish I can get a damn Eyes Wide Shut too 15, 20
oh
years
my
later.
gosh.
Like, what did you process after the fact? What happened? That type of situation. Are you and Alice still together? Did you take Alice to the party?
Call it
Was
ears
Alice
closed.
in the
But
cult the whole time? It was a lot of unanswered questions at the end of that movie.
hmm. See, I'm kind of tripping. You ain't watched other Kubrick movies. Avid, did you see other? Have you seen other Stanley Kubrick
Mhm.
movies?
Yeah, I've seen Clockwork Orange, 2001: Space Odyssey,
Oh yeah, that's a
um,
good one.
The
What's the
Shining.
other one he did?
And this is the
Yeah,
one you hadn't
Shining.
seen? Child. That's wow.
Look, it's a reason. Like I don't know. I just it's something about this one. Like you were just saying, this being his last one. It's just I guess because it just feels raw. It just feels really
Hmm.
raw. The way it handles sexuality and all this stuff. Because I mean, you think about it. In '99, films were not trying. Especially artsy films were not really going for this subject matter on like a big scale because reasons and things and the climate of the 90s and whatnot. Like nobody was trying to do stuff like this, but he
Oh, how could
pushed
I
it and
forget
it
Full
just
Metal
it's
Jacket? How
oh,
could I
that's a
forget Full
good
Metal
one.
Jacket?
Full Metal Jacket,
That's-
that's a good one. I like that one. I like Doctor Strangelove too. That's probably one of his best ones. Ooh, we might have to do a Kubrick series too. Anyway, Kubrick is a cult classic director. Let's say
Mhm.
that.
Ooh, period.
Like he is a straight up
All
a
right.
tour.
I can
He
see
isn't a
that.
tour. Like the man
Mhm.
got movies that make you think. And there's that one movie that he didn't get to finish that Steven
Right.
Spielberg finished, but we ain't gonna talk about that because that movie make folks cry. It's a sad movie. Really, really, really sad. No, Mike, you need to watch. You need to watch all his big ones.
Okay.
Like you,
Definitely will.
you get it. The only one that I am not crazy about is Lolita.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw it, Avia, but like, You know what? Let me go ahead and give a quick synopsis. Lolita is about, it's based off of a book. It's about a young girl who seduces an older gentleman. Um, and when I say young, I mean like she's in her teens. I think she's supposed to be 15 or 14 or something. The gentleman is 40s and up, and he thinks he's in love with her, but she's just seeing it as a chill time. And it's supposed to be a dark comedy. And yeah, yeah, there's a lot there. Um, yeah, it's they remade it with Jeffrey Irons. Yeah, it's kind of look. You can't win them all. You can't win them all. We're gonna keep that one off. Look, like, look. Just watch The Shining, 2001, A Clockwork Orange, Full Metal Jacket, Doctor Strangelove, oh, and Spartacus. You'll
Well, I've
love
seen.
Spartacus.
Mm-hmm.
I about to say I've seen The Shining multiple times, but I didn't realize that was him. But I've
Oh,
seen The
period.
Shining. The Shining is
Period.
good. Now that's a nice.
That kind of is a cult classic.
I was trying to say it, but didn't feel like I didn't think it was
I mean, it
time to
is,
say
but
it.
it isn't, but it is.
Right, because I think it did make its money.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I know that Stephen King hated it though.
mm,
Yep.
Yep.
damn,
Because he felt like they changed too much.
mm. So we didn't
Honestly,
get
I
our
don't
true
think there are
Shining
any
movie.
directors ballsy like him. Yeah.
You don't think what?
I don't think there are any directors as ballsy as Kubrick right now.
I think there's a few.
Do you though?
Hmm.
Do you think they're ballsy or do you think they're just doing it for shock value?
I don't think shock value. I do think some directors are, and if you're when I think of ballsy, I still think of you know creating or how I see that I'm going to put this out there, and I'm going to direct these my castmates, my actors, and stuff like that, and you are able to convey the actual story. I do think that's ballsy because it takes a lot of guts,
Good point.
a lot of je ne sais quoi to bring things to life,
Oh, he
or
said it.
even you
You said
know,
it. You
or
said it.
even to
That
remake
was the
things.
password.
I think a lot of directors now are still not necessarily finding themselves and finding their footing, but I think a lot of directors are still trying to make sure that as the director that they're still staying true to themselves.
Good
And it's
point.
only a few. It's not a lot. It's only a few, and I honestly don't want to talk like not talk. I don't want to name them yet because now I have to I have to make
Yeah.
sure that we are all on one accord.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't want us to
That
start
makes
rapid
sense.
firing directors, which we
Yeah.
could later in a different episode that's
Hmm.
not cult classics, but you know who are the directors that are what is the give me the classy word for ballsy. You got me out here saying ballsy on the internet now.
Je ne sais quoi.
Okay, there
It's
is a
the je
couple
ne sais
directors that
something you
got
don't know.
some je ne sais quoi when it comes down to either movies or series. So it just depends on who he or
No,
she,
Brad.
We call them auteurs.
Audacious.
We call them auteurs. The one who
Brazen.
have that, the one
Yeah.
who have the je ne sais quoi,
A
we call them
tour.
auteurs.
you know, it just depends.
Other
So this
than
definitely is a
Christopher
two-part
Nolan.
series of Alice Watch It.
It is because this is, yeah, because I was like, because we got to talk about the music too.
Yeah, I was thinking and looking like I mean, I feel like we have covered the basis of the movie,
Yeah, and
introducing.
there's this Reddit post.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to share it It's a lot. I mean, like
Right.
it's a lot. It's breaking down through degrees, like all the way from 1 degree to 33 degrees. How it deals with Masonic lodges, what it deals with the Scottish Rite,
Mm.
what how it deals with Carl Jung's yin and yang theory, how it deals with Stanley Kubrick making a message with what film could do, and like it's a this is
I
very
it's that's
interesting.
what makes it very controversial and, like you say, interesting. It has so many layers to it. It's not just a movie. It starts a conversation. I mean, this is the movie
Mm.
that started this actual series because when Aaron
Mhm,
said, this is a cult classic, and I was like, girl, ain't no way. But when I actually dug into what cult classics are and everything, I'm like, oh shit, this is a cult classic because of the controversy. It didn't make that much money in the movies. Look at the following after it. Look at the conversation that still has happened. You can go look on YouTube right now, and I guarantee there's a bunch of videos about Oswald and Stanley himself. You know,
Mhm.
so I mean, I
mhm.
do think that's what the true meaning of a cult classic is. No matter how long it's, I mean, granted, with the age of what it is, it's the conversation that follows after it. It's the people like me that just watched it 2 months
Mhm,
ago, and sorry, it's the people like Avia who just watched it an hour ago and has a actual,
Right.
has a take on it, and it's a
mhm.
conversation. I mean, granted, yes, the movie is what it is and everything like that, but as I said at the beginning, it's how you perceive, how can conversate about it without it affecting the person that you are,
Right,
you
Mhm.
know and that's a
right.
that from all the documentaries I watched and all the things I watched, read about this movie. That was one thing that I kept seeing was a lot of people was taking it very personal. um and
Right.
it feels bad. I felt bad because it's like, damn, I get it, like I do. But also
Mhm.
it's just like it's a movie at the end of the day. Um,
Right.
I can say that for a movie that's currently, in the masses now. But that's a stop topic for another day.
Period.
So, but no, yeah, this gonna have to be a two-part because, like you said, we gotta talk about the music, the dramatics of the
Oh,
music. We was hitting some nice notes and low tones and everything like that. But initial thoughts for real. So, Avia, after
Mhm.
consuming it, what is your initial thought of Eyes Wide Shut?
I thought it was a great film. I thought it did what it needed to do. It explained a lot without actually having to explain it all. And I can watch it again and probably learn something else from it. And that's what film is supposed to do. Like a good film,
right.
you'll sit there and enjoy it, but a great film, you'll watch over and over again and find something different every time you watch it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I'd have to agree. God, I can't even remember when I watched it. I think when I first went to college, rocked my world. Didn't want to touch that movie again. And then, yeah, actually, that was a cult classic effect on me because I did not like the movie. I was like, this is too much. And then I appreciated over time for what it was trying to do and what it did do. And yeah, I can watch it again because, like I said, that's what movies are supposed to do. It pulls you into a world that you never would even think about normally. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What about you, Michael?
Um, as somebody who watched documentaries about cults, I think I think it did what it needed to do for me. Just because I like thrillers. I'm a big horror fan. I like, psychological thrillers. I like that type of, fantasy but like I said, like when I first watched it, I was shook. I ain't even gonna hold you. I got Tom Cruise out here in this goddamn house looking at this mansion and exposing himself. I will say as somebody who wants to create and write, it did inspire me.
Yeah.
It really did. And I told Aaron my idea, and I was like, oh my God, this is, and I think that's what, you know, that's what I'm excited about watching the list of movies that we have because it's going to inspire us all because we are all creatives at the end of the day. But it's going to inspire us to, create and give us like some type of meaning for what we're putting our passions into, because I definitely saw something in my head once I finished it. I wrote it down. I was like, oh my God, like I could see me creating something in this realm, not as, dark, but I can see me, fusing some things together with who I am as a person, who I am as a writer to, convey. But I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
I did. Shook me.
Nice.
It had me shook for about 2 weeks. I ain't gonna hold you.
Hmm.
That's the power of Kubrick.
Yep.
That is the power of Kubrick. And that's the power of movies. That's the power of films. That's the power of cult classics. Yeah.
Yes,
See,
the power
all
of
came full
cult.
circle.
Oh, that's a
Right.
tagline. That's the power of
Yeah.
movies. That's the power of cult classics. I love that.
Yeah, I like that too because I mean that's what it is. I mean, full circle moment for this to be happening just because it's time to, switch it up a little bit. It's time to change the
Mhm.
Hmm.
conversation. Time to,
Hmm.
get to something new. But
Hmm.
this has been the Mo Diversity family, and you have just tuned into a new series called Cult Classics. We have a
Correct.
lot of more movies to talk about. This was just one out of 20. And we want you to send us your favorite cult classics as well. Send it to our Twitter page and let us know what you think is a cult classic. Also, let us know what do you feel like a cult classic is. We all said what we thought, what we think a cult classic is. We know what the true definition is, but what do you feel a cult classic is? Because me and Aaron was also talking about something today that I was like, well, damn, can
Mhm.
music have some type of cult following? Which it can.
Exactly.
I mean,
Hmm.
there's a conversation to have about that. But in any case, I can't hit the button. I just want to let y'all know because I got my laptop closed.
Uh, oh, okay.
You need laptop. You need
I just want to
Chromebook.
Pushing
let
the
you know I
button.
can't hit the button.
Am I pushing it?
Push the
All right,
button,
I got you.
please.
I got you.